Thanks so much for joining us today. For a while, I've been promising a blog post or some information about sources of inspiration for your blog. Many of you are kind of searching for your voice, which is a good thing. You've gotten out there and you've started to practice with your blog post and just started to put some information out there. Now, it's really important to kind of stay engaged with your target audience to understand what's on their mind. And there are some ways that you can constantly have a stream of ideas coming in, and that is to draw from your sources of inspiration. There are many books out there about blogging and about social media and search engine optimization and all of these online techniques for marketing. And you go into any bookstore, and I remember Barnes and Nobles, just as a side note, I go into Barnes and Nobles and Borders often, and maybe about 2 years ago, you'd go in there and you'd find like 5 or 6 books about these topics, and now they have sections dedicated to these topics. So it just shows you how explosive this particular field has become and how exciting it is. If you do go into any of those bookstores, one of the books that I suggest for you is Huffington Post. They have, surprisingly, it came from them. I expected somebody else to come out with a book on blogging that was about small business blogging and would help. And there's tons of them out there, but this one helps more than any of them that I've seen. And they have some really great tools and tips in here. And this is, if you purchase one book about blogging, this is the one that I suggest that you purchase. But they've got a list of sources of inspiration in here that I want to share with you. The first one is newspapers, and bloggers oftentimes read the news to stay engaged. Read the news to find out what's going on in your target audience's lives. If you're a local blogger, maybe you want to create a blog post that is slanted towards a certain news angle. This is going to help with search engine optimization. If it's breaking news, as an example, like Osama bin Laden or a presidential campaign or something that is newsworthy, and it's something that people are talking about and that's popular, Google or the other search engines are more likely to pick up that content or rank it higher because it's a more popular topic. So if you can, link in to something that's in the news already. The second item that they have on here is political publications like the National Review or the Nation. And this is appropriate depending upon what industry you're in. But even if you're not in an industry where you can take a news article or an article for your blog and give it a political slant, perhaps you can look at these publications to kind of get an idea of the style that you could write in if you were talking about a particular viewpoint. Number 3 is general interest publications, and these are great. Some examples are Newsweek, Time Magazine, Vanity Fair, those type of things. They've got some fantastic features in them, and you can just, as they suggest, tear out a blog article or tear out an article in there and use it at some later date. Number 4 is TV news and news websites. Again, making sure that you have some information relevant to popular items that are popular events that are going on right now. Radio is a great place, and they're suggesting you jot it down, an interesting tidbit while you're at a traffic light. I don't wait till I get to a traffic light because my mind goes so fast that by the time I get to the traffic light, it's gonna be gone. I have in my cell phone a recorder that I'm constantly talking to myself as I drive. People think I'm crazy, but they just think I'm on the phone, actually. 6 is large new media sites. They suggest Political, Boing Boing, Daily, those type of things. There's tons of information on these political sites. So if you're ever at a loss of what should I write about, go to one of those sites, pick any topic, and you'll find some interesting information there. 7, and I love number 7. This is blogs on your blog roll. I'm in the process of putting together a blog roll for editability for a long time. I've had a list of blogs that we constantly frequent because some of our best ideas come from other blogs and other bloggers in the area. The blog roll, and I'll do a dedicated post, I promise, about this later on, but the blog roll is just essentially a list of links to websites or to blogs that are blogging about kind of the same things that you're blogging about or something that would be of interest to your target audience. But they can also be a valuable source of inspiration, a source of information, and a starting point for some of your blog articles. And number 8, I think this might be one of my favorites. I thought number 7 was one of my favorites, but this might be my favorite. It says on the street reporting, and as internet has permeated the lives of everyone, you don't really see those. You know how you have those reporters that are out there on the scene, and they're taking notes, and they've got the microphone stuck in people's faces. That still happens, but it's not as often. Why can't you do that in in the digital form, in the digital media? Go into some of, if there's a hot topic that's going on, if there's a daycare center that something's going on over there, go take your microphone, take your camera, and do some on the scene reporting, and put that information on your blog. All of those stories are worth covering. Their news, and you're kind of going to be perceived as an authority if you take the initiative to get out there and report on it first. So those are some sources of information from the Huffington Post guide to blogging. I suggest that you come up with some creative sources of your own, and create a kind of a folder on your desktop, or I have a box that I have all these different sources, all of these different places that I can go for information. So that way, when my memory is gone, and I can't remember where I got an idea from, I can go back to that box, and it's a tremendous help.